Hey folks, Wandering Kid here. I know it's been a while. Life, too much to discuss. We'll just leave it there. However, one of the things I did realize in the interim is I don't have to build an entire new ship to try and rescue our three stranded Martians. I have the Toucan still attached to the bottom of the boat. And it has a remote guidance unit. So I'm going to try and bring that in, actually. It's not the greatest ship in the world, but we'll do what we can with it. Oh yeah, it's at a monoprop. Alright, let's get that fixed up. So, click. Stop. Wrong button. Stop it. Is it alt click? Yes, there we go. And somewhere on here I have monoprop tanks. I forget where it is. That's fuel. Alright, hold on. Alright, we got our monoprops filled back up. Should be the only the two tanks on it. Fuel tank looks good. What's it on the tail of that? A poodle? Yeah, that should give us plenty. And yeah, so it'll take 2 trips back and forth to get them up. One of the things I did do somewhere along the way was I set up a Ike transfer through the Ares helm. I think I'm actually going to cancel that and see if we can't get the boys home. Alright, so we're going to undock the Toucan. Let's switch ships. Turn on RCS and SAS. Come on, back it up. Nope. Oh crap, where am I controlling from? Alright, let's start with some basics. Control from there. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's back away from the ship a hair. Alright. That gets us floating. Now, where are we? We are here on the orbit. We want to be over there. We've got 4K Delta V on this craft, which should be plenty. Do we just wait, though? Do we wait until they come back into our pattern, or do we switch this? How much Delta V would it cost me to switch my node? If I go here, add a maneuver, and twist myself around, bring it in, twist around again, that's a pretty heavy burn. But it should at least get us in the area for 957 Delta V. I'm willing to spend that to speed things along. Doesn't know the burn time, that's fair. Alright, turn off RCS, turn on SAS. Let's get ourselves turned over this way. Let's get the burn figured out. Oh, looks like I need a burn now. You see, my TWR is plenty. Making sure my gear is working. Good. Okay, we got ladders on this so they can climb up. Orbit is changing. Alright, so this burn will take a moment. Alright, so we've completed our burn. Let's take a look at how we ended up. Not horrible. That's better. I should probably wait a revolution. And I think I will. So as I'm watching this, it looks like our next orbit should put us into a reasonably close location. Remember, I can only pick up 2 of our 3 Kerbals. So what I'm going to do is when I hit the apoapsis, or about opposite side of the planet, which I think is about here, we're going to put in a maneuver node. Let's see, where can... I'm trying to get my periapsis where I want it. Yeah, that's not quite where I was thinking. Yeah, let me slow this back down to normal speed while I think. Alright, so that puts periapsis there. That puts periapsis at 12. One a little higher. Okay, that's a little more than I wanted. I'm aiming for, I don't know, 20k? Yeah, let's aim for 20k. Let's see how that works out. Alright, so, not a very long burn, thankfully. Get ourselves aimed up, and we'll burn round, and I'll show you our entry. So I made some minor adjustments during my approach, realizing I was coming in a bit too high. And I pushed my periapsis down by aiming myself radial, or anti-radial. And now we're going to see how this works out. Ooh, that's very bright. Alright, there's my target. I'm at 15k. Let's bring this down to normal speed. Looks like, well, we knew I was a little off target, but that's okay. As long as I keep dropping, I'll be fine. I'm not going to get an arrow break. What's my distance? 60? Let's get our burn going, shall we? Actually, I think that's my target out there. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong target. That's my target out there. I shouldn't have done what I did. Alright. Let's see. I need to go that way. More that way. All right. That should at least get me somewhat closer to Jeb and friends. I'm certainly going to have to redock and refuel to come back down. This is definitely an emergency craft situation I'm dealing with here. Alright, I'm gonna get a bit more float time. I consider anything inside of 10k from the target a win. That shortens my walking distance for the Kerbals. A little bit that way. Alright, retrograde is this way. Looks like it should be reasonably flat here. Sweet. Alright, and then we'll have to walk 2 of the Kerbals over, but that shouldn't be too big of a deal. almost down. There we go. All right, we have landed. I think this thing is RTG'd. Yeah, it is, so no power problems. All right, I don't know how well rendezvous is going to work. We'll have to check that out here in a bit. What we do need to do, though, is switch ships. All right. Area shield, switch to. Find the right ship. This one? Nope, apparently that fell through the earth. Or, do know, whatever. So, Bill, Abby, and Jeb are here. Our target is where? Where did we land in relation to us? There it is, right over there. That helps. Okay, so not horribly bad, but it is going to be a long walk. So I will bring you back once that's done. So, I believe I've got my sound set up. And here's Bill wandering up to the Toucan 30 minutes later. Yeah, it's a bit of a hike. I even used half his tank of EVA propellant just to speed things along there. So he needs to get into the Toucan. And if I remember right, I've got a couple of ladders I'll be able to use. Now I have an idea. I don't know if it's a good idea, but I have an idea. Up you go, Bill. Hey, Bill! Thank you. Bill. Come on, Bill. Work with me, Bill. Bill. Alright. This apparently wasn't my best plan. Let's jump him up. Grab. Okay, that works. Maybe my other plan won't be so great, but we'll see if we can do something. Oh, you can't actually grab the ladder. Alright, so we got him in. That's one. This is the IVA from his seat. Alright, so at least one more Kerbal to go. 1406 meters per second. That's going to be tight to get to orbit, isn't it? It's going to be really tight. Yeah, in theory I can get up there in 1200 if I fly perfect. Alright, well, we'll give it a go. Alright, next up, that's Bill. Now we're going to get Abby over here. So, as Abby is finding out, if you're willing to go up to ludicrous speed with your EVA pack, you can get there very, very quickly. Unfortunately, poor Abby just skidded his way in for, I think, the last kilometer. Yeah, probably 300 or 400 meters anyway. Problem is I got to bring it in on a downhill slope, and if you're not careful with your propellant, you can drop how much propellant you're using very quickly. The idea I had was to hook Jeb into the front in this, basically the pit in between the can and the large fuel tank below it, and try and bring all three up at once. I'm just not sure if Jeb will stick. I mean, he's a badass and all, but, you know, there's only so much he can really pull off. These ladders are actually just pointless. They're just useless. So, we'll grab our PVA pack. Ah, crap. Alright. That didn't work as planned. Let's try this again. See, what I'm thinking of doing is hooking Jeb on right around here. Well, drag him all the way to the top of the ladder so he's got a shot. But, come on, get in there. There we go. I just don't think there's enough there to really hook Jeb onto. So I think we're going to have to leave Jeb behind, and then we're going to take this off. So, with only 1400 Delta V, I'm not really loving what I've got available here. What I think we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get this in orbit come heck or high water and just get to an orbit, period. Which basically means I'm going to aim probably 45-ish. The helm is going to have to come meet us, pick up the two Kerbals, and then we're going to have to bring the sword over so we can redock the Toucan. Toucan? Toucan. So we can redock the Toucan, refuel it, and go back down for Jeb. I think that's going to be what we're going to have to do. So when I launch, I'm going to want to launch... Alright, that's 90, that's 45, 60-ish. Alright, so 60 is this way on my ball. Alright, let's see if we can at least get two of these boys back to space. Fire in the hole. Okay, that's space. Maybe a little bit of burn to keep that up. It's looking all right. Just gotta get out of this suit. Once I get about 15K, it'll be a lot cleaner. It's going to be tough. I'm probably going to have to use my RCS to finish circularization, but I can live with that. Come on, guys. Let's get up there. I burned a lot of fuel coming in. It was not one of my best landings, but it is what it is. Alright, how are we looking? That's not horrible. I don't know. This will be interesting. .9 seconds of fuel left. Great. Alright. Looks like we should get to orbit out of the suit now. Or at least space. I mean, here's the worst case scenario. I get up to Apoapsis, and I burn all my monoprop, and I find out it's just not enough. Well, at that point, I kick Obby and Bill out. Their EVA packs are refueled, and we let them circularize themselves with their EVA packs, and then we just pick them up via normal rendezvous. That's 2 out of 3 Kerbals at least, and that lowers the rescue mission requirements tremendously. Alright, so I'll bring you back when we hit circularization point, and we'll see how this goes. I'm looking at this orbit, and I'm realizing that 60 may not have been my best choice. I probably wanted to aim more 75-ish, so I'd cross the meridian over here. It is what it is now, but that would have saved me a little bit, I believe, in putting the orbital center closer to circularization center, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, we're coming up on Apoapsis. We're obviously going to burn the last 0.9 seconds of our fuel. For what that did us. Now, we're going to turn on RCS, and we're going to push forward. If you'll notice in the upper left, our periapsis is raising, and we're not burning much monoprop. This may be enough. We're really close to departure requirements. I don't know if I just didn't lift off well or what. Because we had 1400 delta V, it should only have taken about 1200 to get up. I may just not have had a good flight path. I may have wanted to go more up than out until I got above 15K. You know, basically start off at a 45-degree burn instead of a 15 to 20-degree burn. Oh yeah, we've got plenty of monoprop. That'll be plenty to get us up. Not the best of methods to get there, but hey, if I get to orbit, I'm sold. So yeah, this will orbit. And then what we'll have to do is we'll have to have the helm and the sword rendezvous with the Toucan. Okay, so using, what were we at, about 119? So, 69, about 50 units of monoprop. We were able to circularize our orbit at 52.4. Now, we need to get the helm sent over to it. I've got everything everywhere. That's the boots. Oh, actually, that's the boots. Let's see how well I can adjust that for an intercept. Because this is almost perfect timing. Alright, boots. Set to target. Apoapsis is actually pretty good. If I go to the descending node, add a maneuver, twist myself around, slow it down a lot. And we'll have to fuss with this a bit. There we go. We're looking at what for a burn? Unknown. I'm at the node though. Oh, right. RCS on. So you turn like a slug. We'll just get this adjusted and see what we can do with it from there. Forgot how hard the boots is to move. So we're going for the maneuver node. Make our lives a little easier. Come on. Directional thrust will help out. There we go. Bring it to full throttle. And we'll at least get our orbital plane figured out. Gonna burn a ton of fuel, but there's not much I can do about that. We have bypassed our maneuver node so badly at this point. We have a significant problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let this correct for now. It'll at least get us closer to the correct orbital path. We're going to have to do another burn at some point to really try and lock this in. I had forgotten how bad the nukes were on this. The Toucan, the engine on the Toucan, was a lot of the thrust to weight this machine had. While the nuclears are definitely more efficient, they just don't have enough thrust compared to the rest of this fuel ship. And I'm burning off a lot of fuel out of our fuel ship to get it to where it needs to go. But at this point, I've already committed to the burn. My periapsis is negative. Either I stay on the burn or I end up in trouble. So we're going to finish this burn out. I'll try and stop it when I get to some kind of closer orbit anyway. And then we'll have to do another burn at some point. What I'll probably do is I'll burn until my periapsis picks back up to 52.5 or so. That will be the end of my correction on this particular burn, and I'll go from there. Alright, I've decided I don't like how this is starting to work out. I'm going to go radial, burn until my periapsis picks up, because my apoapsis is just starting to run away to something moronic. I completely screwed this up. I really should have waited for another orbit, done a proper burn, figured out what it was supposed to do, etc., etc. Bring it up to 52. That'll work. Now at apoapsis. Yeah. Notice I'm still moving around a little bit. I am in atmosphere. I go to my apoapsis and add a maneuver. So, I just showed you about 1,000 ways of don't do that. Alright, here we go. Burn time. Yeah, I'm not going to make you sit through this approach. This approach happened at 1.5 meters per second at best. Took tremendous amounts of monoprop to even be able to do the approach. Because we kept having to recorrect for drift. I think I went through, what, 500 units of monoprop? At this point, I'm literally pulling in at 0.1 meters per second, just because the boot is such a mess trying to control it. And I'm just doing small, fine adjustments right now just to line us up. And we'll hook the Toucan in and get her refueled. If in any way possible, when I go back down for Jeb, I'm going to try and make sure that I am only driving the Toucan after the boots realigns our orbit. Because this has just been absolutely batty. This has been hard. This took forever. But it looks like we've got the Toucan just nicely lined up. It should just pull right in between the engines, no problem. And we should be good to go. I don't think that's correct on 29 meters. I know I've got that port targeted. I'm pretty sure I'm control from that point. At this point, I'm afraid to touch anything. Just because it's been such a bear to get here, and I have no quick saves. Remember, this is an Iron Man game. But we are pulling in incredibly slowly. That's got it. All right. Oof. That was unpleasant. But, all right. So, we have been skimming a little bit of atmosphere here. Just to make life more interesting. And my apoapsis is a little high. That's okay. Let's start with some basics. Let's refuel this. Let's start with the monoprop. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that should have enough to refill them. And then we'll refill fuel. And then what we'll do is we'll figure out how to get the Ares helm over here so we can pick up Abby and Bill. And then we can set the Toucan up so it can go back down and go grab Jeb. Ah, Helm, it's been a long time. How are you doing, Helm? We had such grand plans for you that have just gone completely awry. We're going to set you up to the boots. Alright, there's our ascending node. So we need to go anti-normal. Slow that change down. Alright, our burns are complete. I've got the boots aligned to face its docking port I want to hit up to the north. Unfortunately, we're entirely backwards as to how this should be. With the boots ahead of me, I should want to put the Ares helm under it, but the boots has a very low apo and perioapsis at just over atmo at about 51k. The helm is sitting at 59, let's see, yeah, 59 to 67. I'm actually going to bring that apoapsis down a bit, because that's just all sorts of screwy. But in general, if we take a look at closest target distance, we're looking at 15 orbits. So just shy of 2 days with our current setup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the orbit. Actually, maybe I won't adjust the orbit. What I'll do is I'll set up one for about an orbit ahead. And once we hit that point, I will adjust our orbits. I'll bring them in tighter. We'll get ourselves nice and tight, and we can go from there. So I'll go one extra orbit ahead. And that's a day and a half, roughly. And then I will match them up that way. It's just going to be a lot easier than trying to fit the helm into half a kilometer worth of distance in the orbit. It can be done, it's just annoying. So we're not going to bother. So after a couple of small burns and then a minor adjustment to our orbit once we got down close, I'm going to run a slightly larger orbit, a bit elliptical. We should be all right. We will get to 1.9 kilometers in 5 orbits. Not too shabby. And then from there, I can hook the helm to the boots, get the helm refueled, get our people transferred from the boots, or actually from the Toucan attached to the boots, into the helm, and we can go rescue Jeb. So that's next on the plan, and see you shortly. And look at that. There's our boots. Just hanging out. Quite lovely. Alright, so let's flip round. And there we go. We've successfully mated the Ares helm to the Ares boots. Alright, next batter. Since we can do this in easy mode. Why am I not getting a transfer crew option? Oh, I gotta click on the door, which I gotta find. As you can tell, my system's getting a bit laggy from all of these parts in one place. Another reason I'm looking forward to going with 64-bit. There we go. Transfer Bill. There you go, Bill. And we'll get Avi over. And we'll put Avi up in the cockpit. Come on. There we go. Alright, so let's get our crew transferred. They're all up in the helm. Let's refuel the helm while we're staring at it. I think that'll do it for this episode. On our next episode, hopefully we'll be able to save Jeb. We'll take the helm over to Ike. We'll go get a quick landing in on Ike. We'll get the boys home, and we may even actually end this series. And I can move on to 1.1 and start doing some fun stuff again. This has actually started to become a chore here on Duna, part of the problem, but that's a whole different ballgame. So, if there's things you want to see me do in 1.1, start thinking of them now. We'll see how things go. As always, thanks for watching.